partir de hoje, você vai viajar pelo mundo comigo no Atalla.Doc. E no primeiro episódio, eu conversei com o Dr. Phillips. Ele é diretor do Instituto de Medicina do Estilo de Vida da faculdade de Harvard. Esse nome parece estranho, mas é fácil entender como ouvimos o que ele tem a dizer.
So the majority of diseases, we actually quote up to 80%, are the result of the behaviors that we choose, meaning how much you choose to exercise, how active you are. We're choosing to do this sitting down. We could be walking. What you eat, how much you eat. Are you getting sufficient sleep at night? Okay. Whether you choose to use tobacco. How we handle our stress is another piece. Whether we take a few minutes to breathe, whether there's some sort of a mindfulness to what we do. All of those simple behaviors are responsible for, we say, 80% of chronic diseases.
E perto dali, numa cidade menor, mas que é castigada pelas super altas ou super baixas temperaturas, muitos habitantes têm que fazer o seu exercício em shopping centers, que abrem suas portas antes do horário de funcionamento para virar pista de caminhada. Eles são conhecidos como os mall walkers.
So, I grew up, my teenage years was in the 1950s, and I never remember there being an emphasis on exercise at all. But I was never athletic. I think I talked to you about that. But I also didn't exercise much at all until I did have heart surgery. But the real turning point was I had a blood test, I don't remember exactly now, 5-6 years ago. And I was diagnosed as pre-diabetes. That's when the doctor suggested more exercise, to walk at least 3 to 4 or 5 times a week if you could, and cut back on sugar. I stopped eating ice cream. I cheat every now and then, but it's a big difference. And we started to walk.
The most common chronic diseases that plague the world now include diabetes, many types of cancer, heart disease, stroke, depression, all come along and are all remarkably improved by getting enough physical activity. And what's interesting to think about is that we can think about enough physical activity, which just means getting 150 minutes per week, and that it's a way of preventing these illnesses, but even more so, it's a way of treating them and reversing illness.
And so I'm pretty healthy. My heart is good. But I would say that mostly what drives me here is the weather. And, we're here if it's very cold, and we're here if it's very hot outside.
Se os mall walkers têm que pegar o carro para se exercitar por conta do clima, a forma como as cidades grandes se desenvolveram também nos tornou praticamente dependentes de carros.
There are actually only 2 tested ways to make a city throughout history and around the world. One of them has existed as long as humans have been making non-nomadic settlements, which is about 10,000 years, and we call that the neighborhood. And a neighborhood is defined in certain ways, principally as being compact, as being diverse, at least in use, so places to live, work, shop, recreate, all together, and also to be being walkable. Now, around the middle of the 20th century, pretty much starting here in America, but now exported very effectively to the rest of the world, was developed the other type of city, which we call suburban sprawl. Suburban sprawl is characterized as being the opposite. It's clearly not diverse, and so you have just places to shop, separated from places to work, separated from places to live. And it's not walkable because when you make that first decision to separate uses from each other and typically reconnect them only with highways, then of course driving becomes mandatory. And we say that the automobile transforms from being an instrument of freedom to a prosthetic device that you actually just need to live your daily life.
We need to wake up people to the idea that we need to break up the sitting, even 5 minutes an hour. Little breaks is enough, even if you do 10 minutes every 2 hours. And that's in addition to the message that we also want you to get 150 minutes of moderately intense physical activity, like a brisk walk. How do we get people to do this? We need to change the culture. We need to make it so that this becomes the norm, meaning that to get someplace, that walking is actually the safer, quicker, more fun, more efficient way to do it.
É cada vez mais necessário que as pessoas entendam que o nosso corpo não foi feito para ficar parado. Se mexer é fundamental, da maneira que for possível, mas com regularidade, sempre.